Society imagines scientists as cold, calculating, and perfectly precise, but the historical record reveals a different reality. When pushed to the absolute edge of human knowledge, the brightest minds on Earth have repeatedly played roulette with our existence. This is the gadget on July 16, 1945. This specific assembly of steel and explosives became the world's first nuclear detonation, changing the technical capacity of our species overnight. Before the countdown reached zero, physicist Edward Teller proposed a mathematical possibility that threatened to end the experiment before it began. He calculated that the explosion could generate hundreds of millions of degrees and enough heat to shatter the cooling barrier. If those nitrogen nuclei fused, the bomb would ignite the Earth's atmosphere in a self-sustaining chain reaction. The math suggested atmospheric ignition was unlikely, but the dread at the test site remained as they waited in the New Mexico desert. Nobel laureate Enrico Fermi began offering wagers to his fellow scientists on whether the blast would merely incinerate the state or destroy the entire planet. They didn't know for certain what the result would be, but they pushed the button anyway. The gadget detonated with a force of 21 kilotons, exceeding predictions and tearing a hole in the desert. The atmosphere didn't catch fire, but surviving the explosion did not make the world safer. It provided the first proof that researchers could wield the power to eradicate humanity. Even as that power began to slip out of their control, the explosive spectacle of Trinity gave way to a much quieter, invisible threat. Inside the laboratories of Los Alamos, scientists continued testing a 6.2 kilogram sphere of plutonium to determine exactly when it would go supercritical. They called this manual testing tickling the dragon's tail. In May 1946, physicist Louis Slotin placed a beryllium shell over the plutonium core to reflect neutrons back into it. He maintained a tiny gap between the two halves, using nothing but the blade of a flat-tipped screwdriver. The screwdriver slipped. The metal hemisphere snapped shut, fully enclosing the core. In a fraction of a second, the plutonium went supercritical, filling the laboratory with a searing wave of heat and a brilliant blue flash of Cherenkov radiation. Slotin knocked the top shell to the floor, stopping the reaction, but he had already absorbed a lethal dose of radiation. Over the next 9 days, his white blood cell count collapsed and his internal organs suffered severe radiation burns until his bodily functions totally disintegrated. These failures proved that catastrophic risks don't always announce themselves with an explosion. Often they are the result of human arrogance and a single careless slip of the hand. As the Cold War intensified, the focus of high-risk experimentation shifted. If physicists could crack the atom, intelligence agencies believed they could crack human consciousness. The CIA launched Project MKUltra, driven by paranoia about Soviet interrogation tactics. CIA Director Allen Dulles and his subordinates sought to weaponize the mind itself. They authorized the covert administration of powerful psychoactive drugs, specifically LSD, to thousands of unwitting citizens. The research fed into the CIA's Q-Bark manual, a guide to coercive interrogation. It detailed psychological tactics designed to induce regression, a state achieved through sensory deprivation and isolation meant to completely collapse a subject's identity. Mastering the atom gave us control over the physical world. Project MKUltra proved that researchers were willing to break the human mind if they thought it would give them control over reality itself. That willingness to abandon ethics in pursuit of data infected academic psychology as well. For decades, Stanley Milgram's shock experiments and the Stanford Prison Experiment have been cited as proof that ordinary people easily turn to sadism when given authority. But modern reviews of archival recordings reveal a different story. The Stanford guards didn't organically become brutal. Researchers actively coached them to act tough. In Milgram's lab, participants who hesitated were bullied and coerced by the experimenters into flipping the electric switches. While those famous psychological studies relied on manufactured drama, the United States Public Health Service was conducting a systemic medical horror. In Macon County, Alabama, the Tuskegee Syphilis Study starting in 1932 tracked 399 black men infected with syphilis. Even when penicillin became the standard, widely available cure in 1947, the researchers intentionally withheld it. They lied to the men, telling them they were receiving care, while actively preventing them from getting treatment elsewhere just to record their fatal decline over 40 years. These studies reveal a chilling commonality: the cold, calculated reduction of human suffering into a data point on a research paper. This curvature marks the path of the Large Hadron Collider, a 27-kilometer ring designed to smash subatomic particles together at near light speed. Leading up to its activation in 2008, the facility sparked intense public panic. Critics filed lawsuits to halt the machine, terrified that the high-energy collisions might generate theoretical particles called strangelets or even microscopic black holes that could grow and swallow the Earth. Comprehensive safety reviews by independent physicists ruled out these specific doomsday scenarios. They concluded that the LHC posed no conceivable threat to the planet, as similar high-energy collisions occur naturally in the atmosphere every day. While the physics held firm, the public's anxiety was rooted in a different kind of data. A century of history showing that brilliant scientists are fully capable of ignoring existential risks to achieve their goals. From the radioactive fallout of the Trinity Test and the Demon Core to the psychological betrayals of MKUltra and Tuskegee, the lesson is stark. Intellectual brilliance does not guarantee benevolence. The most dangerous experiments in history mapped the atom and charted human behavior, but their true legacy was exposing us. They laid bare our unchecked ambition and our willingness to cross any moral boundary in the name of discovery. With that long record of scientific hubris behind us, it forces a deeply uncomfortable question. What world-altering experiment is happening right now that we don't need to know about?